Hi everyone, it's Ruchika Nirvan here with you, and today we are going to talk about something very important, that is prompt, and the type of prompts we have. So when we talk about prompts, a lot of parents, when we talk about kids, be it special kids or be it neurotypicals, uh, all they need prompt at a particular age, and it is very important because prompts means anything which helps a person to accomplish a task. It's a support, which helps our kids to accomplish something. So suppose if my child is unable to eat with by his own hand, so if I am going to help the child by holding his hand and feeding him with the spoon, so this means that I'm giving the child a kind of a prompt. So this is a measure, and this is the kind of a task which we are accomplishing together. So why prompts are important? Because when we see kids who have sensory motor issues, and like in autism, when we talk about developmental delays, many kids, they are not able to they find difficulty in accomplishing certain tasks. But it doesn't mean that we cannot teach a child to accomplish certain things. So when we give them a prompt, with the help of prompt, they try and they learn to do certain things. And when we fade the prompts, it's a sequential process of fading. So when we try and fading it out, there are chances that kids will start doing things independently. And because I am working with the kids from the past many years, I have seen this thing on my own. When you have to be very very trained in giving the prompts, and also with the entire fading process. If there is a prompt which you are doing it like, over prompting can lead to behavioral issues and dependencies, and under prompts also can lead to behavior issues, and of course the major behavior issues. So because when the child wants to accomplish something and we are helping them, and because the child feels constant need, okay, that the pressure is there, that I have to finish it, I have to finish it. But in a play form, like if I'm talking about the flow time perspective, if we do accomplish certain thing in a play way method, child feel less anxious, and the chances that they feel that okay, somebody is with me and I can do it, the chances of accomplishing a task becomes high. And when we talk about the type of prompts, so we have a hierarchy. So we start with full physical prompt, partial physical prompt, modeling as a prompt, gesture prompt, verbal prompt, and visual prompt. So this sequence you will see when we talk about full physical prompt. Like I said, when my child is having trouble in holding this pen and writing it or opening it, so with the and I know that I don't want to take any chance. So, but I want my child to accomplish. Have to analyze it. We have to see. So second thing is, we have partial physical prompt. It's not, at times kids can do certain things, but they might need some kind of a partial prompt. Like if my child is eating, can eat on its own, but they need some kind of a partial prompt. Like if I'll hold my child's elbow like this, there might be chance that he or she will eat on its own. Okay, so this is the partial physical, so that I'm partially prompting my child to do. Like for example, if there is a ball and I know my child can kick the ball, but they need just a small prompt, like a tap on their leg, and with this prompt they can kick the ball. So this is a partial prompt. And then we come to modeling. In flow time we use modeling a lot. So I believe that when my child see, like they are quite good imitators. So if I see my child is seeing me doing certain things, like if I'm pouring rice from up, and the effect of rain and the visual, they are liking it, the chances are they will also take the cup and they will also do the same action, right? So this is the modeling. If I want my child to do something, like suppose if I have a spoon and I'm just stirring it and round and round and round, the chances that my child will do the same, because they will like it, they are liking the visual. Something they like, they will really like to model. And like starting from their eating habits to, to their the kind of a play activities they are doing. If we be the model, the child will definitely, they will start copying it, and they will try to, we can also help it and associate it with the narration, that if I can do, you can also try. So kids feel less anxious when we say that you can try. Okay, right? So third thing was this, modeling. And then we have verbal prompt. Verbal prompt also we use a lot. So like, if we tell a child, suppose if my child wants to they have, my child's task is to fill a bottle, and I don't want my child to prompt physically, but I can verbally tell them, so open the bottle. Now we can hold the bottle, and now we can open the tap. Oh my god, now see, we have to hold it tightly so that bottle should not fall down. Partial thinking, of course. But when we tell the child these verbal prompts, it will help them. And definitely verbal prompt can be kind of a dependency, because especially when we want a child to speak something and we give them a verbal prompt, so like, say hello, so child will say hello. So but there are chances that the child can become a prompt dependent on this thing, until or unless parent will say hello, they will not say it. This automatically becomes a kind of a prompt dependency. So this is there is a very minute line between this verbal prompt and fading of the verbal prompt. And at times we try to teach our kids, like, give me this, give me that, this one. So these are kind of a gestures that we want our child to understand. And this involves high level of looking and understanding too. So gestural prompts, to make them understand these gestures, becomes important, because it comes into a non-verbal language and understanding. And then we have visual prompt. So like, kids, they understand a lot with visuals, and that is why, when they are in when they go to the new world, maximum of the things are through sensory and experiential and visual, because it really gives them a different insight. And visual helps them, to know that this is what is expected out of me. So like, if there is like, if I go in a mall which is very new, so I will also look up for the signboards. So where is the washroom, so I will look up at the sign, where is the arrow, where is the the label for she, or or for the food court. So this is how it helps us also, right? So when it can work wonders with our kids. So visual prompt, I feel, is important in kids learning, as they understand it, like the entire sequence in a blink. So this is one thing I wanted to talk about. Then every prompt is very important, and yes, it's very very child specific. We cannot just generalize it with any other thing. If my child requires visual prompt a lot, it's not necessary that your child or somebody else's child will need the same. So we have to always analyze, and then the process of fading should be very very wise. Otherwise, as I said, behaviors and over prompting can lead to dependencies. So the next time I can discuss, I will discuss about the prompt fading process, which is definitely not so easy, but we will try. And that is all I wanted to share. So see you guys next time. Bye bye.